This episode of the Firebirds Fan Zone is brought to you by Kyle Garman Realtor. Whether it's your forever home or that perfect desert getaway, Kyle Garman and his team at Keller Williams have the experience, integrity, and tenacity you can depend on to make the dream of home ownership come true. The Fan Zone is also brought to you by DesertDefenseLawyers.com. It's a fact that bad things happen to good people, and DesertDefenseLawyers.com is there to make it better when it does. DesertDefenseLawyers.com has been keeping good folks out of the penalty box since 2008. The Firebirds Fan Zone is all about sharing the Coachella Valley Firebirds fan experience, so if you're enjoying the show, please remember to subscribe and hit the notifications button so you never miss an episode. If you're really enjoying the show, please feel free to share it with the world. And of course, hit that like button. Okay, if you're ready, we're ready, so let's get into it. 3, 2, 1...
Firebirds goal! Scoring his 13th goal of the playoff. The captain, number 17, Max McCormick, assisted by number 19, Cameron Hughes. Welcome to the Firebirds Fan Zone with your hosts, David and Kyle.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's strong.
All right, so
You ready to rock and roll?
we are rocking and rolling.
So this one is real interesting, right? Because this is the first time we're actually doing one on location.
On location.
It is a very, very special episode. Look at that grin on his face right now, right? First things first, though. First of all, welcome, Firebirds Fan Zone. Good to have you here. We are at Porta Villa on El Paseo with the inimitable Magic Matt Tennyson. Can I call you Magic Matt?
Sure.
It's a stupid name, but I'm going to call it to you anyway.
Is that the first time you've ever heard
this
that
is your
one?
show.
Yeah, right?
I haven't heard that. But
No, see,
The
right?
Magic Matt.
All right, first things first, though.
Yeah.
Let's do proper business first.
We'll just thank everybody again for all the support, for watching the show, supporting it, liking it, and sharing it. I think
You're going to need to be closer to that mic, I can tell you.
that last few thank yous from the K's episode, I think out in the arena, a lot of people love that episode.
That was a good one. That was a lot of fun.
So awesome. Thanks,
That
guys.
was a lot of fun.
Just keep checking it out. We appreciate it.
Yep, keep liking, keep sharing, keep doing whatever you do on social media.
So why are we here?
So check this out, dude. Last night, at the time of recording, the Firebirds sealed up round 2,
I'm so
headed to round
exhausted.
3 against the
you're
Rain.
exhausted.
I'm exhausted.
Matt was there. You didn't get to see him because you were. I was unfortunately not present last night. I was driving, so I got to listen to you guys.
What did you think of that round that we played against Calgary?
It was interesting.
Because you played them. You played them last season, so you know who they were. Obviously going into this round. But we had the bye. What do you think about the bye? I mean, do you think that's helps, hurts? Where's your head on that?
Yeah, we talked about that on the broadcast a little bit. Just what's good, what's not, what's too much rest. There's a ton of factors that play into that.
I know managing it matters. So that comes from the top down.
I think 12 days was too much.
That's a lot.
I think it's one of those things where too much rest is probably
So
detrimental.
So in my brain, 12 days. 8.5 of them, you're practicing your asses off.
Yeah.
As if you're game, but I guess it's not, right?
It's not. No, for a hockey player, especially that deep into the season, where you're just going into playoffs, you had obviously another very successful season. You have the momentum.
That's a big thing.
The car's tuned up, it's ready to go.
Right.
When
That's
you,
what I
when
think.
you let it sit for a little bit, the rhythms and things just become off. You can practice all you want, but nothing.
Is that what happened game 1?
Had to be. Right.
You can blame, whatever. You could try to blame that. You could blame, just Calgary playing a good home game.
Yeah, that's true. That was their home opener. Yeah. That's fair.
That it's a unique situation in the American League where you play 5 games, you win the Pacific Division, and then your first playoff game's on the road. So, that happens.
But they made that decision. The Birds
for sure. No.
said this is what we wanted, and I agreed with it. Actually, it's kind of the Super Bowl.
They could have done the opposite. They could have.
They want to
started
know
2 at home, but then they would have had.
Because a lot of people online, I kept getting blown up. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Why did they do that? And I get it from a strategic perspective. Hey, let's go on the road. Let's get it over with. Let's see what we got to deal with coming home. But yeah,
and they did what they needed to do in that situation.
Yeah.
Take 1. Knew they didn't play great. I think, talking to the staff and stuff, they knew they had to, do something.
What was the
Definitely
talk?
made adjustments.
What was the talk? I mean, were you around that stuff and then what you were hearing?
I mean, not for the in-Calgary part, but
right.
talking to them. I was in the coach's office last night after the game. Just
What were they saying?
talking.
Like the difference?
Yeah, I mean, they said that last night's game was their best game of the series, like by far. And I mean, to me, it showed. I wasn't able to watch the games in Calgary, but just looking at the box score, talking to the guys and everything, it was even game 3. It was just a different feel. Like you could just tell
when
they
you
were
were
in control.
watching.
They were in way control.
Yeah, let's say they again. I only listened, but the way Evan Pittman calls a game, dude, I felt like I could see
I like it
it.
though because you got the audible,
Yeah,
I got the
so
visual.
It sounded to me like they dominated.
Yeah.
90%. There was a little stretch there at the end of the second where they kind of, and they had opportunity. But what did you see through your experienced eyes? What did it actually look like?
Last night,
Yeah.
I think they dominated in the O zone and also they were good enough in the D zone to prevent too many opportunities from.
Agreed.
But to have a good offense, you need a good defense that starts the play and gets the forwards the puck, and then they can spend the time wearing the other team down in the O zone. And I just felt like the pressure was, way more relentless than Game 3 in the O zone, which just led to a more tired team as the game went on.
That's what you were saying in the car, yeah.
I kept thinking, did you talk to the boys? Did you guys have a session? Because I remember we had talked the last time about that a little bit, how maybe kind of defensively I don't know if you'd had a conversation with them at all.
No,
because they made some adjustments that were impressive. They looked more aggressive.
We had on Game 3, I think we gave up first 4 goals were penalty kill goals. So, and Stu runs the PK and he runs the defense. So I think there was a very firm talking to.
To say the least, I'm sure.
That's just not acceptable in the playoffs. Regardless of the circumstances or puck luck or whatever you want to call it.
There were a couple of attacks where Calgary's offense got behind the D, blatantly, like shoplifters getting out of the store first. It was
I think it was just a responsible game last night. They just played the right way, and the way that they've had so much success
and they didn't stretch it out to the final game. I felt like it was a statement game.
Yeah,
hey, we got to take care of business at home.
Yeah.
Let's not drag this out. I mean, no offense, last season was fun and that was great, but let's not
fun
drag it
for us.
out. Let's just end it. And I think we felt.
Trust me, we didn't want to go.
That
long.
That's what we were talking about in the car right over too. We're also like, those guys didn't want to drag it out last year. That's not a want.
The worst thing about triple overtime is they shut the bars down in the third period. So,
right, everything was shut down.
Yeah.
So do you think you would have, from having that? Do you think you would have benefited from having that rest? Not to beat a dead horse, but because you guys played a lot of games last year on the road. You traveled a ton. So because this next round, it's Ontario. It's down the road.
Yeah.
You guys are traveling a lot, and you didn't have that first round bye.
Me personally, I would have loved it just because older guy with back issues. I'll take the rest all day, and I feel like I'm mature enough to show up and play well regardless of the rest. But as a team, I can't say the same about everybody, and I think just individually, even if you can show up, like I said, the timing of things is just a little bit off because everybody's kind of been. No matter how you look at it, your mind is off of playing an intense game. So if you can practice the same things that you always do, but nothing beats playing in a real game.
So it's more mind than body fatigue.
For sure.
I feel like there's a maturity that's happening with the Firebirds this season versus last season. You guys are figuring it out. I think this year it feels more like it's about business. Like there's a certain amount of business, and then like you said, we did what we needed to do. Now let's move forward. Let's look on to Ontario, because we were talking before we got set up here a little bit about what does that matchup look like?
Yeah.
And a lot of those guys over there.
Yeah, I looked at the roster. We had talked about I hadn't seen them play a game either live or not this year, but TJ Tynan, I played against him in college. Unbelievable player.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He plays his role well. He's kind of a little scrappy guy. Likes to try to draw you into taking a penalty on him. He plays his.
He's a chirper, huh?
Yeah, that's a guy that you love to have on your team, but you hate to play against. And I think shutting him down is going to be a key to the series because, I mean, if you let him make plays and you let him have his way, he's
How do you
dangerous.
shut him down?
Yeah. Just be responsible defensively. I mean, a lot of times you look at the game 3, it was 7-5. Like, you give up 5 goals in a playoff game, that's bad.
That's I agree.
Obviously, part of that was PK and staying out of the box. Like, there's so many factors that go into that, but they have a deep roster. They have, Hudon from Colorado 2 years ago,
he's good.
Kind of a similar guy, like smaller but scrappy, and doesn't really fuck around. Like,
Well, do you think their lines can match up with our lines?
Of course. I mean, the Firebirds are deep, just as deep.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we've got a deep roster of
players.
But
I think
it's
it's
a different style too than we have last year.
Our
defensemen a lot of times don't know their defensemen, right? There we have very, very forward-thinking, forward-playing, offensive, which I love. I mean, for me, I love it because anybody can be anywhere, and if I'm the other team, I don't know who to watch out for, which I think is probably real good, right?
Yeah. No, it'll be a good matchup. I'm very interested to see, how they do, how they respond. I think it's going to be an opportunistic series, right?
For sure.
Staying disciplined, staying out of the box, I think is preventing guys like TJ and Hudon to make plays.
So just get in their face and keep them occupied.
Yeah, just play 5-on-5 hockey because I think, honestly, there's not a lot of teams that can hang with the Firebirds 5-on-5. Obviously, we have a good power play, but, special teams aside, if we can dominate the play 5-on-5, I think I like our chances.
Our special team's really good this year. I feel
really
like
good,
our PK's been good. We haven't been able to capitalize. I think our penalty kill, not our penalty, our power play is only like 33% or something. It's a lower scoring percentage. I think.
33%.
Is that good?
Pretty fucking good.
Is that pretty good? See, what do I know?
We'll take it.
I don't know where the rank is in the league, but
I just heard Grant Fear say it, so I'm sure it's right.
I mean, the standard is typically like if you have over 20% on your power play, it's good, and if you're over 80%, that's like the standard. If you're under that, you're below average.
Okay.
Oh, see, I didn't. In my brain, I'm like, well, that's 3 out of every 10 power plays you score. It should be more, but
no. But think about you're not scoring on half the power plays you get per game.
For sure.
Because that would mean that the other team is giving up 50%, which is never.
Which is how I would like it.
Yeah.
Hey, for anybody watching, real quick, if you see me doing this, I'm not tweaking, but you can't hear the music in the back, and I just can't help. But just nod my head to the music.
Got some killer cloud cover that just came out, which is actually pretty interesting. I know, right?
Well, our season for our show is, for whatever it's over. Our season, but we were talking about doing after every round. Sitting with someone who knows what they're talking about and recapping the round,
dissecting
the next one.
kind of what we saw.
You're the first one, so it's perfect.
I love it.
Well,
and you were there too, right? You were near the ice, on the ice, kind of all around, taking a look. And like you said, you were getting feedback from the guys about game 1, just where they were at. Then game 2, what changed, and now obviously moving forward. So, are you gonna be around for the Ontario series?
I will not be here for the Ontario series.
How do we make it happen?
We don't. Did you hear his plans? You know where he's going?
I have family commitments.
Okay.
My sister-in-law is pregnant, and
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
I have a birthday party to go to that next weekend as well, and then
that can wait.
And then we go to Italy for 2 weeks, which
that part I understand.
Is part of a wedding situation and an extension of our honeymoon. So
that's cool.
That you don't want to interrupt.
Nope, we're not touching that. All right, well, that's too bad though.
But the good news is, when we get back, if we're still playing, knock on wood, I will be back for whatever round we're in. If that's the finals or if it's the Western Conference.
It'll be nearing down to about.
I don't know.
To that,
so level. I get back June 8th from Italy. And
we'll be right around the conference.
That's the day I get back from Alaska.
I'm pretty sure we played until like June 25th last year. So
that's what we were just talking, because he's going to be gone and you're going to be gone.
Yeah.
So I have to do the show either with my daughter or we'll pull in somebody.
I'll zoom.
She's next up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kennedy can take my place. Yeah.
I mean, you guys just leave me. That's fine.
Sorry. Yeah.
Hey, listen, it's business commitments that I made long before I did not think it through.
No, you didn't.
Except for it's our vacation we're doing. That is what it is.
Yeah.
But like the following week, I got to go back up to Anchorage for a week, so I'm gonna miss it. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, you should get.